Get ready. It's here. The shift that we've been talking about, the change that you've been hearing about, the change of ascension, the change of evolution is here. Hi, this is William Denney of the ThunderWizard.com YouTube channel, and I'm here to share with you in this video the 13 phases of ascension. In order to ascend, in order to exit the matrix, in order to achieve enlightenment, whatever word you want to use, there are 13 phases that you have to go through in order to get there. Now, if you're not familiar with the idea of the matrix, and the idea of exiting the matrix, please go ahead and watch my videos on the matrix. The most important thing you need to watch is the 5 rules that you need to understand to exit the matrix. Okay, if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that now. Okay, if you're still watching, I'm assuming you watched that video, the 5 rules of exiting the matrix. That's really important. I tell you the 3 steps. Those are important too, but those are general. We're going to break those down. When you break those down, it comes into 13 phases. And I'm going to teach you what those are. And we are actually going to go through that over the next 13 months. We're going to do 1 phase a month for the next 13 months. That means by January of 2018, we are going to have shifted ourselves into a new resonance, a new reality. We're going to shift timelines. And that's what you're feeling. If you've been feeling like something big is coming, it's here. That feeling that something big is coming, that maybe has created some fear in you that what's going to happen, the world is going to blow up, the magnetic polar shifts is going to happen in the world, the United States is going to fall apart, an asteroid is going to hit, something big you don't know. That means that your body and your spirit have been feeling this shift, an energetic shift, a transformation from one reality, from one timeline to the next. And so your brain's trying to figure it out. So don't worry about it. First thing is you need to do is just to know that this is part of what's supposed to happen. Let go and allow the shift to happen. That will get rid of a lot of issues. So let us go over what this shift is and how to go through this ascension. And I'm using practices that I call WYRDing. And WYRDing comes from the ancient concept of weird, which I talk about in some other videos. But basically what it means is it's talking about how this idea of reality is not fixed, it's not static. Reality is constantly moving, and that we live in this perpetual now that is constantly shifting and constantly moving, and we have this illusion that there is past and future. And these ideas of past and future are what lock us in to our reality, and it's what keeps us locked into the matrix. It's what keeps us locked into our reality, what we think reality is. So in order to break out of that, prison, to break out of the matrix, we need to understand what WYRD is, the law of WYRD, and how to use it. I'm going to teach you how to do that. We're going to go through specific exercises, specific things that you can do over the next 13 months. So if you're not familiar with the concept of WYRD, please go back and watch that video. Okay, right here. Watch that video about what WYRD is and the act of WYRDing. Okay, and then come back. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the ascension in 13 phases. I'm going to walk with you and talk to you about how to use the rules of the game, the rules of the matrix. Because here's how it works. When you're just going through your life, you're in the game, and you need to be following the rules of the game. Because the matrix is not living. It's a program that you actually created. And you created it so that you would feel as though you were trapped in this video game. But you programmed into the game certain rules, certain little magical exit points, little wormholes, little secret things in there that if you know how to use those rules, you can manipulate the game in your favor. So that's when you're just going through life. You're playing the game. You got to know what the rules are. Then you go back and you do weirding exercises. And weirding exercises are exercises that are designed to shift you, to change the program inside of you so that you actually shift yourself into a new reality. Actually, you don't shift into a new reality. You change the reality that is around you. And that means you shift into another timeline. But now is the time to do that. The whole world, the earth herself is going through a shift. And this is a critical juncture. Right now, if people are still stuck in that past way of being and doing, it's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to drive them crazy. They're going to feel like everything's coming at them and trying to destroy them. If you go along with the shift and you make the shift to ascension, then it's going to be very exciting. It might still be challenging and fearful, but it's going to be very exciting. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So there's 13 phases to this. So let's talk about the 13 phases. The first phase, well, first before I get into that, you need to also know what the 3 steps to exiting the matrix are. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that video, okay? Assuming you've watched that, those 3 steps are very general, but you first have to get rid of all limiting beliefs, accept that you are limitless, that you are infinite. Second is you need to gain power. You need to fill yourself with the vibration of power so that you have the power to shift and align yourself into this new way of being. And the third one is you have to rewrite the program, rewrite the software. I said the third step is the most important and the most difficult. So this 13-phase progress of going into ascension is all about the third step. It's all about reprogramming your hard drive, your unconscious mind. Okay, so very deep subject. We will talk more about all these. So here are the 13 steps to ascension, the 13 phases of ascending to the next level. The first one is you have to accept that you are in fact trapped by your own programming. It is your own unconscious programming, the narrative that you tell yourself about yourself. My name is so-and-so, I grew up in such and such a town, my parents did this to me, my boss did this to me, my ex-wife. That's the narrative of the past. Those are the things that you use to tell yourself who you are. And every time you bump into a continuous in life, we bump into situations. And what happens is our software is trying to figure out how to respond to that so it can project a new reality. And it always defaults back to the narrative. I'm so-and-so, I feel this way, I react this way, I get angry, I get hurt with this, I blah, blah, blah. And then you keep yourself fixed in this program where you feel trapped. First step is you've got to acknowledge that this is the case. The second phase is that you come to an awareness that there is a future self that has already achieved complete ascension, complete enlightenment. You freed yourself from the matrix. You've become an enlightened immortal. I don't care what words you use. That being, that future self of you exists. And you are going to accept that your future self exists and that you need to align yourself with your future self in order to bypass millions of lifetimes. Okay? So that's the second. The second phase is to align yourself with your future ideal, perfect, aligned self. The third phase is then actually making a contract, making an energetic contract with your future self where you say to your future self, I want you to guide me. You tell me. I'm not going to be the one doing it. You're going to be doing it for yourself. Your future self, your enlightened self, your perfected self, your immortal self is going to then give you all of the keys because your future self has gone through all those millions and millions of lifetimes, made all the mistakes. And you're going to bump into those mistakes and your future self is going to tell you, here's what you need to do to avoid that. And then you'll end up, it's like going to the front of the line. Okay, so that's the third phase. You make a renewing contract with your future perfect self. The fourth phase, This is where things become important. The first 3 phases establish the foundation. You have to establish that, otherwise the rest of the phases don't mean anything. The 4th phase, you then have to go back and look at all of those limiting narratives. My mom did this to me, my dad said this to me, my girlfriend broke my heart, my boss did this, my ex-wife, whatever it is, the government, blah, 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 whatever it is, no matter how bad, you are going to catalog all those things. You're going to write them down, all the things that everybody has done to you that you still keep feeling limited by, with anger, with fear, jealousy, whatever it is. If it brings up negative reactions, you're going to write down the people and the events that caused that, okay? Because you have to then be able to know what you need to get rid of. Because what we need to do is we need to erase that old narrative. As long as that old narrative is there, it's constantly going to be forcing you to take the same reactions that keep you stuck in this reality. Okay? So that's the 4th phase. The 5th phase is then you are going to admit, you're going to reveal to yourself, to your higher perfected self, and to the rest of the world exactly what those are. And what it is that you are being honest. We keep this narrative tucked away behind us. It's like a secret program. We share it with some people a little bit, but we think we really are that stuff. So what we're going to do is you're going to go online and you're going to record this and put it up on YouTube. And you're going to tell your higher self, and you're going to tell yourself, and you're going to tell us, here are the things that limited me, and I'm going to show you how to do it, because I'm going to be doing everything, same thing as you. I'm going to be doing the same thing, all right? So that is going to now dislodge you from the old narrative, all right? Now you're going to be kind of floating around in space. It might be a challenging time. For some people, it's very liberating. It's an incredibly liberating thing, but for some people, it can be challenging. Who knows what it'll be for you? Then we're going to go into the 6th phase. And in the 6th phase, because you've just dislodged yourself from the old narrative, you're then going to once again align yourself to your future self, your future perfected self. And you are going to become ready to completely let go of all that, because you're still going to feel attached to it. And you're still going to want to respond in all those old ways. But now you're going to seek the power of your future self to allow yourself to let go of that. In the 7th phase, then we are going to do exercise which will actually dislodge you, and you will erase those things. All right? You're going to erase at least the ones that you know of. This may be an ongoing process, but you're going to erase those old narratives. Now, once we get into the 8th phase, now you're still going to feel attached and trapped a little bit. You're going to have a lot of freedom, and what all this does is it frees up your energy, because the majority of your energy goes into those old narratives. Once you get rid of that, you have a lot more energy, you have a lot more power to actually shift yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. And where are we in the 8th phase? In the 8th phase, you are then going to become aware of how you, remember in that when you look at the old narrative, my mom did this to me, my dad did this to me, and because of that, I'm this, and my life isn't as good. You're going to see the things that you're aware of. This is what's important. The things that you believe, the guilt that you're carrying about, gosh, I stole from that guy, or I hurt that person, or gosh, that ex-girlfriend, I cheated on her, and whatever it is that there's guilt attached to, that's an energetic contract with them, and that's keeping you, again, trapped in feeling stuck where you are. You're going to first catalog all of those people that you feel that you energetically may have given them something, right? Because maybe you added to their negative narrative. Now, it doesn't matter whether you did or not. The only thing that matters is whether you think you did, okay? Whatever they think doesn't matter. It's what you think. So the things that you believe that you did to potentially negatively harm others, you're going to catalog, all right? And then in the 9th phase, you are then going to break that energetic connection that you have with them, so that now you're no longer held back by your narrative nor anybody else's narrative about you. Then we go into the 10th phase. 10th phase is very exciting. In the 10th phase, you then take continual, you continually look as you're going through your life. You're now free to be able to watch yourself as you're about to either respond to old ideas about yourself or get yourself negatively connected to other people's narratives. And then you're going to, while you're doing that, continue to deepen your connection to your future self. In the 11th phase, you have dealt with so much of that outside stuff, and now there's a huge amount of freedom, and you're going to be completely focused on your future perfect self and aligning yourself. Now you have the energy to completely align yourself with that. The 12th phase is continuing to refine the process even more. Everything that you've done up to that point, you refine, you continue to practice, you continue to learn more and more, and you make yourself available to vibrate on a level where when people come to you and they're looking for a way out, you have solutions for them. Now, you don't have to seek anybody out. It's not like religion where you have to go and proselytize, and it's not about that. It's just now you're in a place where you are vibrating in that next level. You're already into that next level, into that shift. And people who are also wanting to get to that shift are going to want to start vibrating with you. You're going to start attracting people who want to go there. And you're going to make yourself available to tell them or to share with them what you know if they ask. And then comes the 13th phase. In the 13th phase, this is where you find people who are, enlightened masters or whatever you want to call it. Imagine that. People who are still on the earth, but they're vibrating at a level that the majority of people aren't. And you're going to then learn how to perfect that, and you're going to be your own guru at that point. At that point, you won't need me or anybody else to help you. You will begin to innovate and create. And in the 13th phase, which is kind of what this is for me, in the 13th phase, you're going to begin to start creating new technologies, new ways of achieving this enlightenment, this ascension. And who knows? I don't know what will happen. You get much past the 13th phase and you're pretty much not in this realm anymore. So we are going to do that for 1 month at a time, starting this month. We're going to start in December with the first phase, and we're going to finish the 13th phase by January of 2018. Okay? So we'll see if this takes off. I'm going to do it. And if you want to do it with me, you can. I'm going to chronicle as I go along. So that's it for now. If you like the channel, go ahead and support it. If you don't see the thing above, scroll below and support the channel. Subscribe, like, comment. If you have questions, put them below. If you experiences that you're having with the stuff that we're going through, put it below. If you want to contact me, if you want help from me personally, put it below. I'll email you, and blah, blah, blah. So that's it for now, my friends. Coming up next, we're now going to talk in depth about the first phase.